Hi. Okay. I am almost 2 weeks postpartum here, so I'm just going to go over some basic breathing exercises, different positions to do the exercises in, and ways to kind of just help and feel around with your body to see what's going on. Nothing crazy, because like I said, I'm just freshly postpartum. I know things are going to shift and change. I'm not aiming for perfection. I just want to see where my body is at this point. So I put a block in between my legs to help keep my hips stable and in line with each other. So we just want to kind of curl up into the fetal position here. I'm doing side lying breathing to focus on one side at a time. Where my hand is there, you could place a towel, which I will later on, underneath your ribs or your side just to help support your core. So what I'm doing is a deep inhale in. Oh, more fetal position here, shifting. More fetal position, and then I'm going to take a big inhale, focusing on sending the breath all the way down to my pelvic floor and pushing out, like inhale down and out. Okay, and then when I exhale, getting all that air out without lower belly pooching or too much strain in the core, and then holding for 5 seconds. My goal is to hold for 3 to 5 seconds with both inhales and exhales at the end and beginning of each. So you'll kind of see the pattern here. I don't want to strain too much when I fully exhale. I want to get the air out, but like I said, no belly pooching, no strain in the core. Now the core can fire a little bit. The first week I wanted minimal to no core firing. Sorry, my baby's sleeping on me now. This is why I'm doing a voiceover, because my newborn was sleeping right next to where I was. So I didn't want to speak and have him wake up and be ready to nurse again all day, every day. So this is just taking a few minutes for ourselves. I know it's really tough postpartum, and you just do a lot of skin to skin or just life, other kids. So these are just a few exercises that I want to go over just to squeeze in. So I'm just gonna have a little, I don't know if you want to call it series, just to follow in real time. Anyways, so as we're side lying breathing, start with like 3 to 5 breaths on each side. So I think I did 5 here. I'm trying to count for all things. So I'm going to flip to the other side. So here is the towel that I grabbed, and I'm rolling it up just to put it like at the bottom of my ribs, on my side here, just to help support my core. So you can have props. You'll see, like I use it under my head at one point because I have forward head posture. You can put a pillow under your head. I didn't grab one. I should have, just to have more support for my head. But now we're just going to work on the other side. And now that I have that towel underneath my ribs, it's giving me more support. So you're bringing the floor up to you. So you don't want anything too high. It's just very minimal. So you just want to bring that floor up to you. You can put it, if you have like a high hinge point, because that typically happens at the end of pregnancy where you're arching your back. You can put one under your back too to kind of help with that. But now we're just still focusing on 3 to 5 breaths on each side, just taking your time. Big breath in, holding for 3 to 5 seconds. I made it to 5 seconds here, but it did feel difficult. Remember, your diaphragm is totally squished during pregnancy. Everything is pushed up. Your diaphragm just kind of turns into like a pancake when it should be a balloon. So don't beat yourself up. This is not, like I said, not perfection at all. We're just exploring where our body is with our inhales and exhales, and just promoting healing to the pelvic floor, minimal core firing at this point, just to see how things feel and how things are going. We don't want to push too much pressure down, especially with those exhales. Like I said, make sure that things are tightening. Your core is kind of knitting in as you exhale. This is my cat, Mr. Smush, who loves to get in the way of what I'm doing. So don't mind him. He's super fluffy and friendly, but it's either him, one of my other cats, or my dog getting in the video, which I've just accepted. Try to slide him out of the way there. There we go. Still focusing on my breath here, working on the opposite side now. This side felt a little better than the other, so that could just mean one rib is more flared than the other. Different sides of your core working differently. And also the towel, having that there helped. It's something small, but it is a big help. Okay, so now I'm coming down, using that towel again. See, putting it like right, kind of like the base of my skull, beginning of my neck a little bit, just because I have the forward head posture. Okay, I think this is where I was just demoing. I can't remember now that I'm going back. So, and then, like I said, with the high hinge point. So, you know how we arch our back because our belly or the weight pulls us forward with pregnancy. So my low back going up towards the middle of my back struggled with reaching the mat because of the arch that I had. So, like I said, it's not a lot. It's just a little bit just to bring the floor up to where I need it. So I'm just giving myself more support, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's still just as effective, and it won't be there forever. But just to meet my body where it is, like I said, it's super fresh postpartum. So we're literally just exploring and seeing what's going on. So I'm just taking a few breaths here from this position, isolated one side at a time. So now just go for another 3 to 5 breaths on your back. As you inhale down and out, think of pushing your back into the mat with your inhale. So everything's opening, right? So we're lifting, or I'm sorry, we're not lifting. We're opening our ribs, right? 360 degrees, front, back, sides. And then as we exhale, the breath is coming from the bottom up. So think of the pelvic floor as the basement. And we're exhaling all the way up, back out, and knitting the ribs back together without, again, that low belly pooching and all those things going on. So just another position to explore, see how it feels. It may feel better that way, or isolating one side at a time, maybe the better way to go, which is what I'm sticking with because it's easier for me to work one side at a time. Then I can really focus on what I'm feeling and what needs more work. Here is an elevated breath. So we have to have our serratus, which is like underneath our armpits, to support us. So our shoulders aren't collapsing, right? Our head is mostly in alignment with our spine. I was just rocking with it, not knowing, just like I said, exploring, not going for perfection with these. It's just too early on to be focusing on all that stuff. Just seeing where my body is. So when we invert like this and we're kind of on an angle, it helps with the breath. I love that position. If you suffer with like pelvic floor tension, think of like a water bottle, holding it that way, pressure wise. Here I'm focusing on some cat-cows, thinking like 10 to 12 of these, really focusing on the breath, so not moving fast, working through the breathing, and I'm just focusing more on the lumbar spine, the low part of my back, and just working on movement there. And then I'll work into more full cat-cows, but right now, cat-camels, cat-cows, I don't know what they're supposed to be called, but just focusing on the breath, and just thinking of articulating the spine and really opening things up and pushing through, like I said, keeping yourself supported, your head supported, so your spine is in alignment. You're being supported by the serratus underneath the armpits. All right, here I come down. Yep, I'm moving nice and slow. See, no rush here. You can also go down sideways like I get myself up. Don't lay flat back like that. If your core is not ready for it, that'll just push. If you have a diastasis, that'll push out on it more. So now I put the towel roll like at the base of my spine because of my forward head posture, which I have. We're all guilty of it. If we text, we sit at a computer desk, we nurse, our shoulders are hunched, our head is hunched forward. It just kind of gets stuck like that. So these are, I call them like the floor angels. I am sleep deprived, so just trying to keep the hands and arms connected to the floor as you slide, think of like a field goal post and then reaching up overhead, almost bringing your hands together, but not fully. That's okay. But if you see, like I do have the rib flare, so my ribs are kind of pushing out as I reach overhead. So I did take note of that. Just trying to stick to the motion in the shoulders, opening up the chest, trying to keep everything. This is good for posture. Like I said, everything kind of gets rounded as it sinks forward. So doing like 10 to 12 of these, you could do 2 to 3 sets. Just whatever feels good. I'm doing 1 set just for the sake of the video, so it's not too long. These are just some things that are, if you're cleared by your doctor, but are pretty safe to do early on, postpartum. Because it's all gentle. We're not straining. We're not lifting anything crazy. We're just promoting movement and good things for posture and breathing and easing back into it, because getting back to the basics is super important. Again, I put that towel roll underneath my ribs here and my core. This will be much better with a pillow for support under my head, but I was kind of in a hurry because I had to I got the baby down, so in the swing, and I was excited to have a few minutes to myself to record this. So I didn't grab everything that I wanted. So anywho, I'm saying here, you don't want to twist your low back. So a lot of people will reach all the way to the other side and they'll touch the floor and they say, look how flexible I am. And they're totally twisting from their low back. So you don't want any kind of twisting from that. That's me singing because I have my headphones on and I was listening to music when I made this because I can't do anything without music. Anyway, so there again with the towel, going into the fetal position. I could have put the block back between my legs, pillow for support, and then just opening up just to get a stretch in the chest. Again, promoting some soft movement just to help with posture and the shoulders, because everything likes to round forward and get stuck. And then we get in pain, and people will tell me, oh, I have neck pain, my shoulders hurt, I'm hunched over all day. So these are just gentle movements. Again, we don't want to pull from the low back, which I did a few times because I'm used to a different range of motion from just pregnancy was different, pre-pregnancy was different, and now I'm learning again what my body needs postpartum. So just be gentle with yourself, be gracious with yourself. Nothing is going to look perfect right away, and that's okay. Also, thank you for bearing with me. I don't know what I'm doing with this voiceover stuff. Next time, I'm just going to record myself talking throughout because this I am not good at. I don't know how people do this for a living on social media because I can't get my timing right. At this point, I don't even remember what I did because I recorded this earlier. I'm tired. So, bridges. Okay, so gentle, light bridges, not overextending the spine, just exploring pushing my feet into the mat, which I realized while I was doing this, you may too, I was clenching my glutes to lift up into the air. So I wanted to focus more on, which, it's not terrible, right? It's not a bad thing. But I don't want to overly clench my glutes. I'm just working on movement here. So I really wanted to focus more on pushing my feet into the mat to kind of help get my hamstrings involved, to help lift that up. So as I progress, or as we progress and we get stronger, we can put like the Pilates ball, they call it, or a block between our legs and squeeze that as we lift. You could put a band above your knees and push out into the band as you lift to work inside or the outside of the thighs. I know that I'm going to have to squeeze things to get my adductors to fire just because I had that issue before postpartum. So I'm just being proactive about it now and knowing That's probably something I'm going to have to work on. But see, I'm just feeling my core here. I'm making sure that I don't have excessive low belly pooching, anything affecting my diastasis, that my core isn't firing too much, because I really just want to focus on the breathing here. That's why it's just little movements and me focusing on the breath, more inhale, exhale. And another thing that I'm doing here is I'm inhaling at the bottom, expanding my ribs. I start my exhale and then I lift and come back down, all within the same exhale. So they always say, exhale on the hard part. So I'm protecting my pelvic floor by doing all of the work with the exhale. So that will change as I progress, but sometimes, like when you go into a little squat, I would exhale deep into the squat and coming back out of it. Do it all in the exhale. There's Mr. Smush again, just sharing his fluffiness. I was just doing some windshield wipers to release the low back. Again, getting some movement in the hips there. Internal and external rotation is going to be important as well. So this is also me explaining you can get down on your side. Don't lay flat back like I did, and rotate yourself to protect your core. We take that for granted. We just sit up, we lay back, doing crunches and things like that. Keep it light. Yep, see? Keep it simple. Lax. Don't brace the core. My hair's a mess. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. All right, thanks, bye.